Your child is talented, dedicated, works hard every single week. And yet every time competition day comes, they're physically sick, shaking, throwing up, running to the bathroom, not because something is wrong with them, but because something is very right. And they just don't know yet how to hold it. Two parents came to me recently with almost the same exact story. One had a 14-year-old track runner, the other a 15-year-old wrestler. Both kids are performing incredibly well. Both kids are falling apart before every single competition. Today I'm going to show you exactly what's happening inside them and the ancient wisdom that gives us the answer. Before I give you the solution, you have to understand what is actually going on here, because I promise you it's not what you think. Here's what these two kids have in common. They're playing individual sports: track, wrestling, sports where when you step onto the track or onto the mat, there is no team around you, it's just you. And in that moment, you feel the weight of everyone watching: your coach, your parents, your teammates, the other competitors, and most of all, yourself. That is an enormous amount of pressure to put on anybody. And when you care deeply, when this sport means something to you, that pressure can spiral out of control. And here's what most parents do when they see this. They say, "You're so nervous. That's okay. It's totally normal." They hand them water. They say, "Take a breath." And they mean every word of it with so much love. But I want to offer you a different starting point, a different way of seeing what is happening in front of you. Your child isn't too anxious. They're too alive. And that is a very different problem with a very different solution. What you are watching is not a weakness. It is an enormous life force, a passion, a drive, a hunger to grow and succeed that has not yet been given the tools to contain itself. The fire is real. The fire is beautiful. It just needs a vessel. And that vessel, we build it together, starting right now. Tell me in the comments below, have you ever seen your child physically struggle before a competition? What did it look like? And what did you try to do about it? So now that we see what's really happening, let's talk about what we can actually do about it. And the very first thing most of us reach for is actually not enough. When our kids come to us anxious, shaking, stomach in knots, dreading the moment they step onto that field, our instinct as parents is to help them feel better. And so we say things like, "It's okay, you're just nervous. That's totally normal. Take a deep breath, drink some water, get some fresh air, you'll be fine." And look, there's nothing wrong with any of those things. Naming emotions is important. Breathing helps. Water and fresh air are good. But here's what I want to challenge today. If that's all we're offering to our children, we are giving them a band-aid when what they actually need is a foundation. Naming the emotion tells the child what they are feeling. Breathing helps them manage their body's response. But neither one answers the deeper question that is actually screaming underneath the anxious moment. Why does this feel so big? Why does it feel like everything is riding on this? What does this moment actually mean? Our kids are not just looking for someone to tell them it's okay. They are looking for someone to make sense of the world for them. They are looking for perspective, though they may not say it in these words, for spiritual guidance. And that guidance only you as their parent can give them. Because spiritual guidance isn't about religion or doctrine. It's about helping your child see their life from a bigger view. It's about saying, this moment is real and it matters, and it is one moment in a much bigger story that we are writing together. It's about helping them answer, who am I? Why am I here? What is this hard moment for? When a child has those answers, even just the beginning of those answers, the anxiety doesn't disappear, but it changes shape. Instead of a wall, it becomes a doorway. So yes, name what they feel. Yes, breathe together, but then go further. Be the parent who gives them the bigger picture. Be the one who helps them see past the race and into the reason. That is the kind of support that stays with them long after the competition is over. Have you ever had a conversation with your child that went beyond "you'll be okay"? Were you actually helping them see the bigger picture? What did that look like? Let me know in the comments below. So what does that bigger picture actually look like? Let me show you the first two powerful perspective shifts. And the first one begins by asking one question we almost never ask. The first thing we need to do is help our kids get themselves out of the center of the story. Right now, in your child's mind, before every race or every match, the internal monologue sounds something like this. How am I going to perform? What will everyone think about me? What if I mess up? What if I lose? What does this say about me? Notice what is in common about these questions. Me, me, me. I. These are thoughts that put them in the center. And the more they focus on themselves, the more overwhelming it gets, because suddenly the entire outcome of the universe seems to depend on their 100-meter dash. So the first shift is this. Help them zoom out. Ask them, why are you doing this sport? Not what are you trying to win, but why are you doing this at all? And when they really think about it, the answers are always about becoming. I'm doing this to get stronger. I'm doing this to learn that I can push through hard things. I'm doing this to discover what I'm made of. I'm doing this because it teaches me how to work towards something I want. And then take it even one step further. Help them connect this into something even bigger than themselves. In Jewish thought, we believe that every human being comes into this world with a unique mission, a purpose that only they can fulfill. And every challenge, every hard practice, every moment of pushing through is preparing us for that moment, is preparation for that mission. So your child isn't just running a race. They are becoming the kind of person who will one day walk into the world and change it. When your child can feel that, suddenly the race isn't about whether they win. It's about who they are becoming. And that takes so much of the pressure away. Do you know what your child's why is for their sport? Have you ever had a conversation about it with them? I'd love to hear in the comments below. But there's another shift, and this one is one of my personal favorites because it's about something that gets lost in almost every competitive sport today. We live in a culture that is obsessed with results, scores, rankings, times, medals, and somewhere along the way, our kids started measuring their entire self-worth by a number on a scoreboard. But here's what I want to bring back to your child: the internal experience of sport, the feeling of their body working hard, the air against their face when they run, the complete focus of being in a wrestling match where nothing else exists, that flow state, that aliveness. That is the real gift of sport. And ironically, and this is backed by sports psychology, when athletes get out of their head about results and into their body and the present moment, they actually perform better. So one of the most powerful things you can do as a parent is shift the conversation after a competition. Instead of asking, did you win? Or what was your time? Ask, how did it feel in your body today? Was there a moment where you felt you're completely in it? What did you love about being out there? And before competition, instead of saying, do your best, try, I want you to feel every step. I want you to be in your body. That's all. This retrains the brain from chasing external approval to experiencing internal joy. And that is what will carry your child through a lifetime of showing up, not just in sport, but in everything. What is one question you can ask your child after their next competition that focuses on how they felt rather than the result? Drop it in the comments below. I would love to hear it. Now I want to bring it all together with a piece of wisdom that explains this entire dynamic, and it's going to change the way you see your child's ambition forever. In Jewish mystical thought, the Kabbalah, there is a concept of light and vessel. The teaching goes like this: light in its pure form is infinite, beautiful, overwhelming, but without a vessel to hold it, it blinds, it burns, it consumes everything around it. The vessel is what gives the light its shape. It's what allows the light to illuminate rather than burn. Your child's ambition, their drive, their passion for their sport, that is the light. And that is beautiful. Please don't ever try to dim that. But without the vessel, without the mindset tools, the perspective, the sense of purpose, the capacity to be in the moment, that light will consume it. And it will come out as anxiety, as physical illness, as fear. When we build the vessel, when we give our children the why, the connection to something bigger, the internal relationship with their sport, the light doesn't go away. It just gets contained. And contained light doesn't burn, it shines. The same fire that was making your child sick before every race becomes the fuel that makes them extraordinary. That is what we're doing as parents. We're not reducing the flames. We are building the vessel. And notice, the vessel is made of exactly what we talked about today. Perspective goes higher than the moment. Purpose stretches further than any single race. The internal joy of the sport anchors them in the present. That is the vessel. That is what holds the light. I want to say something before we finish that might be uncomfortable, but I say it with all the love in the world. Before you can build this vessel for your child, you need to check with your own why. Why do you want your child to succeed? Why does it matter to you that they will perform well? If any of that answer includes because it reflects on me as a parent, or because I want to feel proud when I talk about them, or because their success makes me feel good about myself, then I'm going to say this gently. You cannot influence them from that place. Children feel everything. Would they know when our investment in their success is really about us? And the moment they feel that pressure, their fire turns into fear. But when your why is completely and purely for them, when it's because you see potential in them that they don't see yet, and you want nothing more than for them to discover what they're made of, then something magical happens. They feel safe to fail. They feel safe to try. They feel seen for who they are, not just what they achieve. And that is when they start to fly. So here's the answer to the question we started with today. What do you do when your child wants to win so badly it's making them sick? You stop seeing it as a problem to fix. You start seeing it as a fire to hold. You go beyond breathe and it's okay. You give them perspective. You give them purpose. You give them the spiritual guidance that only a parent can give. You remind them that they are not running for the scoreboard. They are running to become. And you are here to see that. Your child isn't too anxious. They are too alive. Build a vessel and watch their light shine. If this resonated with you, share it with a parent you know who has a young athlete at home. And if you have another child, maybe even in the same house, who is the complete opposite, no motivation, no drive, just scrolling on their phone all day, and you have no idea how to light that fire in them, watch this episode next. This one is for you. I'll see you there.